How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to 2A News Now. And as always, here at 2A News Now, you get your Second Amendment news straightforward and to the point with no BS added in. Over the years, we've wondered why certain government agencies need hundreds of thousands of rounds of ammunition and hundreds or even thousands of guns. A recent one that comes to mind is the IRS. But why does the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, need 500,000 rounds of ammunition and 600 guns? Let's take a look at what the Environmental Protection Agency does. They protect people and the environment from significant health risks, sponsors and conducts research, and develops and enforces environmental regulations. That makes sense, doesn't it? So like I said, why do they need 500,000 rounds of ammunition and 600 guns? The gun haters in the Biden government complain that people in America have too many guns and too much ammunition. So they're allowed to have it, but we're not? Let's take a closer look. Over the years that I've been doing Second Amendment news, I don't think I've ever spoken about the EPA or the Environmental Protection Agency. For the most part, they don't get into guns or gun politics. Like I said, there's really no reason to talk about them here, even though they're managing to do a lot of stupid stuff in general. But it seems the EPA isn't completely out of the discussion of guns. You see, while there are many who lament the Bruin decision because we no longer have to justify why we want to carry, some rather bizarre federal agencies, including the EPA, have been spending a lot of money on guns and ammunition. The Environmental Protection Agency isn't traditionally associated with ranged weaponry, but the federal government has spent almost $620,000 since 2018 to buy guns and ammunition, and more for EPA employees. Auditors at openbooks.com found that between 2018 and 2022, the EPA spent close to $400,000 of federal funds just on ammunition. That came after the EPA purchased 500,000 rounds of ammunition and 600 guns from 2010 to 2017. Over $100,000 went to buying armor for EPA employees. Funds were also used for optical sighting and ranging equipment for night vision equipment and security vehicles. Like most government agencies, the EPA has a criminal enforcement division, which had a budget of more than $700 million in 2023. And as I mentioned at the beginning, its goals include protecting communities with environmental justice concerns and curbing illegal sales of pesticides. The EPA also has its own office in Homeland Security, which provides systematic preparation for climate and environment-related threats. Its budget was nearly $900 million last year. Those divisions include 259 employees with job titles of criminal investigation or some similar variation. Those employees collectively earned almost $32 million in salary last year, with 217 of them making six figures. Some people may have an issue, and some people might not, with a federal regulatory agency having investigators in and of itself. Whether you like regulations or not, the current status quo is violating those regulations constitutes a crime. So it makes sense for the regulators to have investigators. But the problem is, we're talking about $620,000 spent on firearms and ammo for 259 employees. That's nearly $2,400 spent on each investigator. And to be frank, are we sure any of them actually need to be armed? The EPA is a regulatory agency, not a law enforcement agency. If they find an arrest is needed, they should be able to call the local FBI field office and get them to go in and do the arrest. And as we all know, the FBI has plenty of guns and ammunition. And what should bother all of us? That people want folks like you and me have to justify why we need guns and ammunition, but thinks nothing of federal agencies buying firearms and ammo left and right. As we all know, other agencies are also stocked up on guns and ammunition. And as I mentioned earlier, the Social Security Administration and the Department of Labor. But this isn't new though, since we've known for more than a decade about the Department of Education having had a SWAT team. The truth is, what we need and what we should get is justification of why every agency in the federal government seems to have guns purchased with our tax dollars. Because every penny the government spends comes out of our pockets. They need to justify every dime in the book, especially as so many agencies try to infringe on our right to have firearms. Remember, the ATF started as a tax collection agency, and morphed over time into federal law enforcement. If we don't start demanding answers for this waste, we're likely to see it happen elsewhere. And the EPA is just one example. After all, are we sure that we want to trust guns to an agency thought that a mud puddle counted as navigable waters in any way, shape, or form? Over the years since we've been finding out that all of these federal agencies are stockpiling guns and ammunition, and a lot of people think that they're doing so to use them against us. I don't know if that's true, and I know that falls under the category of a conspiracy theory. But also you have to remember, a lot of the conspiracy theories that have been brought up over the past 3 or 4 years, most of them have become true. My question for you guys is, do you think the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, needs to have all those firearms and ammunition? And as always, I appreciate everybody's support of the channel. You guys are always crushing it by liking, sharing, and subscribing and hitting those post notifications. And I invite everybody back to watch my next video.